So you talk about haters, the three most high-profile British fighters that we know of here in the U.S. and, and on the MMA world scene are yourself, Michael Bisping, and Dan Hardy. Do you think, I had a discussion with Gareth Davis from The Telegraph about a week ago. We went back and forth with some stories, and he was saying that, the American media is not fair with British fighters. Do you think that we, the media in general in the U.S., have something against the British fighters? And on top of that, do the fans have something against some of the British fighters?
I think it's just it's a patriotic thing. It's just an underlying current, and nobody likes the foreign guy. Realistically, I think that's what it is, and I think because there is some ammunition to go off with the British fighters, the fact that we don't have the wrestling background that you guys do have, is why that we get some negative press. But people we're never looked at from a positive point of view, really. It's always, the negative things will always be said first, and there'll be a good few of them. And then
you know what, I put aside the wrestling thing, I think it's the brashness, I think it's the outspokenness, and honestly, I'll say this, because I think the response from a lot of media people would be like, well, to the whole foreign thing, well, there's Brazilian fighters that people like and Japanese fighters that people like. I got to tell you, if Shinya Aoki spoke English and Anderson Silva spoke English, I wonder what the fan reaction would be.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. I do think that's a good point to bring up. But it's just our attitude or my attitude, or it's not that every British fighter is not like that. You've got John Hathaway is quite a quietly spoken guy. Ross Pearson hasn't really got an attitude like that either. But I think, funnily enough, the three big names in the UK division that you've pointed out, we all used to train together. Not a lot of people know this. A long time ago, me, Michael, and Dan Hardy all used to be part of the same club and train together, and we got on. So I think maybe it's personality traits that we have as well. We're from similar backgrounds. Even though on the surface it don't look like similar backgrounds or similar mentalities, with similar characters. Dan's the rocky, brash character. Michael Bisping would be like the everyday lad, like we'll say back in England. And I'm your everyday dude, I guess. So we're all very similar guys.
Do you feel for Bisping at all with what he's going through right now? Kind of a similar offense. He snapped after a fight, a lot of emotion before.
Yeah, I do feel for Michael Bisping, but that's his character, and that's a good represent. I know he's apologizing for the media, and he's got to do that in order to keep his job and keep making his money, but Michael gets my respect because that's Michael. Anybody will tell you that's him since day one, He's been playing the game really well as far as, making money and doing all this press work for the UFC, but anybody in his hometown, anybody who knows Michael will say that's how he is. If you push his buttons, he'll react like that every time. And I'm sure if he gets into another fight and another guy pushes his buttons and he whoops that guy's ass, he'll react the same way. But that's like props to him because he's being himself. And there's a bunch of American guys out there and British guys that play a little bit too much to the beat of the drum. And I think the personalities that stand out in the long run, as long as you've got some kind of fighting ability to back it up, are the ones that are going to be remembered. The guys that are themselves that just don't, play the whole company guy game and the whole corporate thing and just do what you want when you want to do it. And, as long as you ain't hurting anybody and you're winning fights, then just be yourself, man. So
what do you think when fans and media say that fighters have to carry themselves with a certain level of integrity and they can't snap, and if they do snap, there has to be a heavy penalty? Is that not being forgiving? Is that unrealistic? Do they not understand the emotion of the fight?
No, it's not. It's not unrealistic, and obviously there is a certain, there's a time and a place for everything, and the fighter has to recognize when that is. And maybe, definitely me hitting Kostick after the bell wasn't the right time. Maybe we should have gone up to him in the locker room without the cameras there. But then the same kind of frustration is not there. Yeah. It's that instant thing, and maybe Michael shouldn't have reacted the way he did while the cameras were still there in the Rivera fight. But that's just the kind of fiery characters that we are, and at the time we're not thinking too much. So yeah, there is a certain time and place for everything, and we do have to carry ourselves with respect when the lights are on. But like everybody, we're just normal people, and we react as, we're not robots, we're not machines. We just react the way anybody would react.